Hey everyone, it is great to see you all again. Out of all the settings in your camera's menu, do you know which ones are the most important? Or maybe you just got a new camera and are confused on which ones you should be changing. Or maybe you just need a reminder of what exactly each setting does. Well, in today's video, we are going to go over a checklist, if you will, of all the camera settings you should be paying attention to or changing when you first get a new camera. So I hope you all enjoy. Well, first, one of the most important settings you can change and need to pay the most attention to is whether you're going to be shooting in RAW or in JPEG. These are two file types that your camera can use. JPEGs are compressed files, meaning that the file sizes are significantly reduced by discarding some of the image data. This is achieved through a process called lossy compression, which removes some details and color information from your photo. Due to the compression, JPEGs are much smaller than the RAW files, making them easier to store and share right away. The typical JPEG file is about the fourth of a size of its RAW counterpart. However, the compression of the JPEG files does have its downsides. It results in a loss of image quality, especially noticeable when the image is edited extensively or if you have saved and resaved the image multiple times. The loss of quality can be seen as artifacts, reduced sharpness, and or less color depth. JPEGs are ideal for situations where storage space is limited or for quick sharing over the internet. They are also suitable for prints and other online use if heavy post-processing isn't required. JPEG is often used for final outputs and quick snapshots where immediate use and smaller file sizes are prioritized. On the other hand, RAW files contain all the image data captured by the camera sensor with little to no compression. Some cameras offer lossless compression for RAW files, which reduces the file size without losing any image data. RAW files are much larger than JPEG files, often by several times, because they retain all original image data. This makes them more demanding in terms of storage space and processing power. However, RAW files do preserve the highest possible quality and detail from the camera's sensor. They capture a broader dynamic range and color depth, which means that more detail in the highlights can result in richer colors. RAW is ideal for most professional photography situations where maximum image quality and extensive post-processing is required. RAW files also provide immense flexibility in post-processing, as I mentioned. You are able to adjust exposure, white balance, brightness, contrast, and other settings with minimal loss of quality. This flexibility is crucial for mistakes while shooting or for artistic effects. That being said, choosing a file format is completely up to you and your needs, but you want to make sure that you're choosing this with intent and know what you're getting into. Next up, let's dial in your focus mode. Modern cameras offer various focus modes to suit different shooting situations and subjects. Understanding what each mode does helps you achieve sharper images and enhances your creative control. First up, let's look at single autofocus mode. In single focus mode, the camera focuses on a subject once and locks its focus. It does not refocus until you tell it to refocus by pressing the focus button again. This is best for stationary subjects such as landscape, portraits, or still life photography, situations where the subject isn't expected to move significantly after focusing. This ensures precise focus on stationary subjects and reduces the risk of focus hunting. However, let's say that you are photographing a moving subject or something that you can't predict where it's going to be in the frame. That's where continuous autofocus comes in. In continuous autofocus, the camera will continuously adjust focus as long as you are holding down the focus button. It tracks moving subjects and attempts to keep them in focus. This is perfect for moving subjects such as wildlife, sports, and action photography, or scenarios where the subject's distance from the camera changes frequently. Although, to ensure perfect focus throughout a still scene or subject, you may want to try manual focus. In manual focus mode, the photographer manually adjusts the focus ring on the lens to achieve the focus. The camera does not perform any automatic focusing at all. This is best for situations where precise focus control is needed, such as macro or landscape photography. This can also be useful in low light conditions where autofocus may struggle. Another way to express your work is to use manual focus in creative applications like focus stacking or intentionally defocusing. However, this requires a bit more practice and experience to achieve accurate focus, and is a slower focus function not ideal for fast-paced shooting. Speaking of accurate focus, this next setting that we're going to talk about will ensure you know what exactly is in focus and what is not, and that is focus peaking. Focus peaking visually indicates the area of an image that are in sharp focus by overlaying a color on the in-focus edges of the subjects in the scene. This feature is especially useful in manual focus. This makes focusing much easier and quicker, especially for those who may struggle achieving sharp focus with just using the viewfinder or LCD screen. The colored highlights provide a clear indication of what is in focus in the frame, reducing guesswork and improving accuracy. This also allows photographers and videographers to achieve accurate focus more rapidly, which is particularly beneficial in fast-paced environments. Moving on, let's talk about one last focus-related setting, your focus area. Modern cameras offer a variety of focus point options that allow you to control where the camera focuses within the frame. Understanding the differences between these options can help you choose the best settings for your shooting needs. Number one, let's look at single point autofocus. This enables the camera to choose a single selectable focus point within the frame to achieve focus. The photographer can move this point around the frame as needed. This is best for precise focus on specific subject or detail within the frame, such as portrait, macro, or landscape photography. This is best for situations where the subject is stationary or moving very predictably. It provides the photographer with full control over the focus point, reducing the chance of the camera focusing on the wrong subject. Using the eye focus for portraits or wildlife can also help make sure that the subject's face and eyes are perfectly in focus. Number two, let's talk about dynamic area autofocus. When using this focus mode, the camera uses a cluster of focus points around the selected single point, tracking the subject as it moves. Let's say the subject moves out of the initial point. The surrounding points may help keep that in focus. This is best for subjects that move within a limited area of the frame, such as sports, wildlife, or children's photography, or situations that the subject movements is somewhat predictable and not confined to a single point. A disadvantage to this focus mode is that it can sometimes focus on the background if the subject moves too quickly or erratically. The last focus mode we're going to be talking about is zone autofocus. This is when the camera divides the frame into several zones and you select one zone for the camera to focus within. The camera then uses multiple focus points within that zone to maintain focus. This offers a larger focus area than single point or group area autofocus, making it easier to keep subjects in focus. However, keep in mind that this will be less precise than single point or dynamic area autofocus, which can lead to focusing on unwanted parts of your scene. It can also be slower than auto area autofocus if the subject moves out of the zone very quickly. Okay, kind of moving away from focus settings, let's talk about the custom buttons. Now, if you want to learn more about which are the best custom button settings, check out last week's video where I talk about exactly what custom buttons are and how to program them to suit your needs, one of which that has changed my photography forever. So if you want to check out that video, I will have it linked above. But being able to have 2, 3, 4, or even more customizable settings ready at the push of a button is crucial to workflow and on-location readiness. Play around with them and see what you like. Try setting each button to one of the settings we've talked about in today's video so you're ready for any situation that comes up. But I hope you all learned something from this week's video. If you didn't already know, I have created a Discord server for the entire community to come together, share photos, and give feedback. And then at the end of every month, I will be selecting one of your photos submitted to a monthly contest to feature in the Discord server. Other than that, if you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter for weekly updates, and then for vlog, blog, and other video updates, if you could like and follow my Facebook page. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.